and welcome to my second video about Advanced Squad Leader Starter Kit 1, and today we are going to play War of the Rats, a second scenario of this game, which introduces us to the special weapons. Special weapons are a kind of additional weapons that units might use, and they provide some extra stuff like firepower, sometimes an ability to blow up the entire building with units inside, or to spray them with liquid fire. So we're going to see how this stuff works in this scenario. I would like to thank you for all your kind comments at my previous video. It was really encouraging. I know I made probably a mistake or two. Well, there is only one option to do not make any mistakes in the Advanced Squad Leader. It is to not play this game at all. Otherwise, you will make mistakes. You will always do. And even somewhere in the rulebook it says, if you found that you made a mistake, just ignore it and play, because this game is about to be enjoyed. It is not a university. You don't have to stress yourself about making a mistake. This is not an exam. This is just a game. Okay, so let's take a look on our board and on our stuff. This is Stalingrad, the biggest city combat during World War II, and we are in the 26th September 1942. We have elements of German 94 Infantry Division that are attacking positions of Soviet 62nd Army. Also, Soviets have their ad hoc shock group that comes during the game in the random turn. This is very important because initially Soviets are definitely weaker than Germans, and these reinforcements are something that might change the battlefield if it is allowed to enter the game in the early stage, but if it's not, then Germans might be able to gain easy victory. Now, let's talk a bit about these special weapons I mentioned before. In the Starter Kit 1 we have light machine guns, medium machine guns, flamethrowers and demolition charges. In the further starter kits we get more of special weapons like anti-tank rifles, bazookas, Panzerschrecks, light mortars and so on, but we don't care about them. Now let's focus on what we have here. I would like to zoom my camera a bit to show you these counters in a more detailed way, so you'll be able to see how they work. Let's start with light machine gun because it is probably most popular kind of special weapons we meet in this game. And what do we have here? We have an icon, we have a name, it is LMG, so light machine gun. We have a firepower, it is 3, and range, it is 8. You can see a line below the 8. It says that this weapon has a spraying fire ability. But we can ignore it because spraying fire works only in the full Advanced Squad Leader. It doesn't work in the starter kit. Next we have a 1 in the square. This is something called rate of fire. When, during your firing, if you will roll on the color die, on the red die, a number which is equal or less than this number, you are allowed to fire this weapon again in the same phase. If you won't get, you are not allowed. And finally, there is a small number 1 with PP. This says that this weapon has 1 portage point, so it's quite small and easy to handle. A number of portage points is quite important because it may reduce a number of the movement points that units has. Let's take a look on it. We have a movement factor portage point chart. So you can see a multi-man counter with 2 or less portage points can move easily just like all the units. But when this number increases, for example 3 portage points, 4 portage points and more, then number of your movement factor is getting smaller. It is quite rare that unit moves with 5, 6 or 7 portage points, but as you can see it drastically slows units down. The next kind of special weapon is medium machine gun. Medium machine gun is something like light machine gun, but with higher firepower, bigger range, bigger rate of fire, and of course it's heavier with 3 portage points. The next one is flamethrower. Flamethrower is my favorite kind of weapon. It is kinda, speaking in German, Wunderwaffe. Why? Because it has awesome firepower of 24. Yes, it fires with 24. Single unit may fire with 4, sometimes with 5 firepower, and this monster can fire with 24. It has 1 hex range. Well, this is disadvantage, but it can only fire on the 2 hexes range with its firepower halved to 12. This is still great. Also, which is probably most awesome, it ignores terrain modifications of the defender. So when you normally fire at, for example, stone building, you get +3 TM. When you fire with flamethrower, you can ignore this +3. See? Amazing. Of course, such a great weapon has some disadvantages. First, its breaking number is 10. Oh, I should mention about breaking number, because these weapons hadn't breaking numbers. I will tell about it now. So, when you are fire this weapon and you will get a number which is equal or higher than the breaking number, the weapon breaks. And when flamethrower breaks, it is eliminated. Normally, when, for example, let's take a look on this Soviet light machine gun, you can see it has B11. So when you roll 11 or less, it breaks. So you are placing it on this side, and when in the next rally phase, you can try to repair it. If you will roll 1, it is repaired. If you roll 6, it is broken permanently and removed from the game. But when a flamethrower is broken, it is instantly removed from the game. Also, there is a triangle here, and it says that this X10 works only for the elite units, for example like these guys. Non-elite units have this number reduced by 2 to 8. So for example, if this German squad would use flamethrower, then they would have this number to reduce to 8, and if they would roll 8 or less during firing the flamethrower, then flamethrower is removed from the game. Too bad. And this is not everything bad when it comes to flamethrower, because when unit carries flamethrower, it gets -1 DRM when it's fired against such a unit, because flamethrower is quite big and makes soldiers with carrying this flamethrower easy to be seen. Even so, I really like flamethrowers, and I find them very cool and great to use against the enemy. Finally, we have demolition charges. Demolition charges have the higher firepower in the entire game. I believe nothing has higher firepower than this damn thing. It has demolition. It has firepower of 30 and a range of 1. Its breaking number is 12 and the portage point is 1. And there is a triangle as well, just like in the flamethrower. So when it's broken, it is broken instantly and you cannot fix it. The biggest problem with demolition charges is it's in its use, because you cannot fire with demolition charges. In the full Advanced Squad Leader, you are allowed to throw demolition charges, but in the starter kit, no. In the starter kit, unit that carries demolition charges has to reach the hex. For example, here. Let's say I would like to use these demolition charges against these Soviets. I have to move on this hex and then on this hex. Yes, this is one of the few situations when you can enter the hex with enemy units during movement phase. You have to move on this hex, spend the number of the movement factor needed to. Enemy is able to fire at you, and this allows you to set up the demolition charge here, and then it explodes during the advance phase. So, I think that the best way to use demolition charges is to use them against the enemy which is already broken. Because the broken units cannot fire at you, so you are allowed to set these demolition charges easily without risk of being fired. And you have to remember that when you are entering a hex with enemy unit, then enemy firepower is tripled. So, for example, these two units have normally 10 together, but when firing on the same hex, they have their firepower tripled to 30. Yes, 30. So you can see this is quite a risky stuff, but well, we have to make a risk in the war. Okay, so that's all when it comes to the special weapons introduction. I will show you later how it works during the game. Oh, I think I should mention this before. Let's take a look on this Soviet medium machine gun. This is quite a most popular Soviet machine gun during World War II, Maxim machine gun, and you can see it has a portage points of 5, so it is very heavy. If you don't know how this thing looks, I tell you to Google yourself. You will see how big this thing was when you compare this with German standard machine guns. So you can tell the difference between 3 portage points and 5 portage points. Okay, that's all when it comes to the introduction. I believe so. Let's take a look on the board, because this is where we're going to play. You can see these 3 red stars. They are coming from the different game, but I use them to mark victory points. This road is essentially here, or maybe this line I should say. This is a border between two sides. Germans, oh no, sorry, here. Oh, this is good, sorry for my mistake. And this line tells us where units are set up. Germans are set up north of it, Soviets south of it. To win the battle, Germans have to control these 3 buildings. You can see they are multi-hex buildings, and to win, Germans have to control all the hexes of this building. Not just one mentioned here, but all the hexes of this building, which is especially true to this building, which is quite big, some kind of factory, I would say. So, we can set up our units freely, remembering about this line. So, now I'm going to do so. According to the scenario special rules, Soviets have to set up first. So, this is my Soviet setup. As you can see, I placed them in the 2 lines. First line is about to make a solid defense and making Germans hard to cross this road and to reach this building. Soviet commanders mostly doesn't have their combat modifiers, so I place them in the second line, so their main goal will be to rally broken units instead of fighting, because you can see a lot of Soviet units are conscripts. About half of them actually. 5 squads are 4 to 6, and 5 squads are 447. 4 to 6 are conscripts. They are weak, poor guys taken from their villages after some really basic training, and they are taken on the front to fight for Comrade Stalin. So they have quite a weak morale, low fire range, and medium firepower. They have some negative modifiers as well. I will tell about them later. And all in all, this makes them nothing but cannon fooders. And normal Soviet units have slightly better morale and slightly better fire range. I placed this medium machine gun here to be able to spray this area. You can see that on this board that we have a lot of buildings, so this won't be an issue to fire on the higher, bigger range, because buildings are limiting our range. I also placed 3 squads in these buildings, because, like I said, they are important for German to win, so it is good to keep some units there to protect them. So my plan is to keep this line. If any Soviet unit is broken, then to quickly rout on the commander hexes and to rally them to be able to keep my defensive positions as long as possible till reinforcements will arrive. Now I set up my Nazis. I think I might zoom my camera a bit now. Alright, this should be, I think, good, and everything is visible, I believe. Okay, let's take a look on Germans. Germans have two kind of squads. There are first line squads that are quite good as well. They have 4, 6, 7. And you can see 6 is underlined. This means that such a unit has spraying fire ability, but this is full ASL only. And some of their units are elite. They have 4, 5, 4, 8. These units, I believe, are representing German assault engineers that are elite units, well prepared to perform city combat. In the full advanced squad leader, we have these amazing 838 units as well, but they are not present in the starter kit. So we have to use this 548. Of course, I give my flamethrower to one of them because it will be better to use flamethrower by the elite unit because of this X10 option. And I made a long line as well. My plan is to use these combat engineers armed with flamethrower to capture this building, because Soviets are quite strong here, so flamethrower will be good. These two groups are first line soldiers equipped with my best commanders and with demolition charges. So I hope I will be able to use their firepower mixed with their commander skills to kill these guys, or at last force them to rout, and then to use demolition charges to make my way. This line is about to keep these Soviets busy and to perform attacks whenever I will need. For example, here or there. It depends on how situation will go. If I will meet more problems here, I will use them here. If there will be more problems here, I will move them here. This is my freedom of choice however game will go. So that's all when it comes to the setup. Everything is ready. Oh, I should mention, there is one special rule for this scenario. Says German 548 squads have their smoke exponent increased by 2. So, for example, we have here, you can see that their smoke exponent is 2, and it is increased by 2, so they have smoke exponent of 4, which is very big. I don't think any other units in this game have such a big smoke exponent. Even these combat engineers from the full Advanced Squad Leader have their smoke exponent of 3, which is still amazing, but now we have 4. So this is a good chance to use some smoke to make our way through this road safer. So that's all when it comes to the introduction. We can start our game. Alright, turn 1, rally phase. We haven't much to do in the first rally phase, so we can skip it. Also, I think I should mention this before, but if you want and if you like, I strongly recommend you to get this ASL SK3 summary. You can download it at the Board Game Geek in the Advanced Squad Leader Starter Kit 3 files section, and it is great because it summarizes all the stuff you can do in each phase. It is made for all 3 starter kits, so there is a lot of rules for vehicles, artillery and so on, but even so this is a great help and I recommend you to get it. Okay, so I said we can skip rally phase, so we can move into prep fire phase. And the idea of this scenario is to break Russian resistance as quick as possible and run through their lines to capture these buildings before the reinforcements will arrive. Alright, so I'm going to fire with my flamethrower on this Soviet squad. So I have firepower of 12. Also, I think I forgot to mention this before, but flamethrowers cannot make fire groups. They always fire separately. So I'm firing with 12 on these Soviets without any terrain modifiers, so it is clear 12, and I get 4. Wow, this is great result. So 4 in the fire column of 12 is 3 MC. My god, I doubt if Soviets will make it. It was 4 MC, so it is 14. So yeah, they are broken and they are conscripts. So they cannot get quality reduction because they are worst unit possible. In the starter kit, of course, there is nothing worse that cannot happen to them. In the full Advanced Squad Leader it can, but we don't care about it now. So they are broken. This flamethrower is marked as used, and now here I have 2 squads with 5 and 1 light machine gun and 1 commander with 1. So I think I will fire with this commander only, with this commander and squad with light machine gun. So I will have 8, -1 and +3 because of the stone building, so I will have 8 plus 2. I get 5. 5 plus 5 plus 2 is 7. In the column of 8 it is 1 MC. Also, you may notice that I rolled 1, but it is not used for rate of fire because it has to be on the color die, not on the white die. So, there is 1 MC for Soviets, and they failed, so they are broken. A good start for Germans, and these dudes are marked as prep fire, while this squad isn't. Alright, that's pretty good. Now I'm using these 2 squads, firing on them. They have 7 and they have 8, so it is 15. And 15 means that we will use a column of 12. Plus 3 because of the stone building. That's bad. 11 plus 3 is 14. In the column of 12 it is nothing. Oh, I think I should mention this before, but you can see that German machine guns doesn't have their braking rate. When special weapon hasn't this breaking rate, it means that the breaking number for it is 12. So they are still fine because I rolled 11. Now these two guys are firing on them. They have 4, 4 and 5. So this is 13, so we will use column of 12 with +3 because of the stone building here. I rolled 5. Oh, and I get a rate of fire. You can see. To do so, to remember about it, because it's easy to forget, I'm going to place a small die here to remember about it. And now, it was 12. I have 5 plus 3, it's 8. 8 in the column of 12 is 1 MC. So I have to make a roll for Soviets. They passed! Wow, they were lucky. And now I can fire with this machine gun again. So I have 5 plus 3. It is 8 plus 3, it's 11, and because I rolled the same number on the both die, it is covering. So I have 4, 2, the column of 2, and the result of 11, it is clearly a miss. Oh, I forgot to mark them as prep fire. And them. Now, let's remove this die. And now here. And I think I will do such a trick to fire these guys with this commander only. And this squad will not fire. So I have firepower of 4, plus 3 because of the stone building, and minus 2 because of the commander, so I have 4 and plus 1. Oh, good roll. I have 5 plus 1, it is 6. 6 in the column of 4 is normal morale check. So let's make a check for Soviets. They failed. So they are broken. Good. Good for Germans, of course. Not for these poor Ivans. So they are broken, and these Germans are marked as prep fire. And now these guys, I will use all of them. So I have 8 to fire on this squad, and so I have 8 plus 2, sorry, plus 3 because of the stone building, minus 1 because of the commander. So I have 8 plus 2. 6. It is covering, of course, but since we have a commander here, then we don't have to care about covering. So we have 6 plus 2 is 8. In the column of 8, it is normal morale check. Soviets passed. It was close, but they managed to make it. Alright. Here, prep fire. Alright, that's all when it comes to the German prep fire. There was a lot of firing here, but now we are safe to move. And now let's move into movement phase. Okay, so now I'm making my first movement here, and I think that's all. Alright, so that's all for them. Soviets cannot fire on them because no Soviets have any line of sight to these hex. They cannot because there is a building on their way. They cannot because there is this building on their way. So that's all. And now here. These Germans are making assault movement on this hex. And now they can fire on them. And they are firing with 4, and now they have -1 because it is clear terrain, and when the unit moves in the clear terrain, the attacker gets +1, sorry, -1, and because they made assault movement, then they don't get -1 because of non-assault movement. So we have 4, -1, and let's make a roll. Oh, poor Soviets. Hey, it is 10 -1 it's 9, in the column of 4 it is nothing. So I'm marking them with first fire, and here I'm going to place residual fire of 2, and because I made assault movement I cannot set up these demolition charges here. This is bad. I should make normal movement, but then these Soviets would get -2 modifier, which could be quite dangerous. Alright, I think this is all when it comes to the German movement phase. Yes, and now I can move into the Soviet defensive fire phase. Which of our Soviets are about to fire? I think them. They have 8. They have 4 and +4 because of the machine guns, so they have 8. And I'm going to fire on them. Why on them? Because breaking this group would make unable to create fire group of them. So I'm firing on them with 8 and +3. This is not going to be easy. And it is not, it is 9. 9 + 3 is 12. In the column of 12 it is nothing. Any other Soviets that might fire? Let me see. Well, they might try to do so, same thing. They have firepower of 4 + 3, so this is a small chance to score a hit, of course. 7 + 3 is 10, so it's nothing. And I think that's all when it comes to the Soviet defensive fire. Well, let's try them. 4 + 3. 6, nothing. In the Advanced Squad Leader Starter Kit you are free to try such almost impossible hits. In the full Advanced Squad Leader, instead, it is sometimes not quite wise to do so, because there are snipers on the board, and a bad roll might result with invoking sniper action. So in the full Advanced Squad Leader it is sometimes better to not try such impossible hits, but in the starter kit you are welcome to do so. Okay, so let's remove these markers. And next we have advancing fire phase. What our Germans are going to do? Most of them are marked with prep fire, so they cannot fire in the advancing fire phase, but some are not. For example, them. They have 5. They have their firepower halved because of the advancing because of the advancing fire phase, and then it is doubled because they are firing on the adjacent hex. So they have 5. And because you can see their firepower is underlined, they get +1, so they have 6. And it is rounded up to the nearest column. So it is 6, so we are using column of 6. +3 because of the stone building. 5 + 3 is 8, so I think it's nothing. It is pin test check, but you cannot pin broken unit, so it is nothing. And now here we have 4. They don't have assault movement, so they just use 4, because we are halving and then doubling. So it is 4 + 3, nothing. So that's all when it comes to the German defensive, advancing fire phase. Let's remove these counters. And next is road phase. There will be some stuff to do for Soviets, but first always is first player to road is always attacker, but Germans doesn't have to road anywhere. So let's move to Soviets. I'm going to road these two guys here. First them, and now them. You can see they have their light machine gun. When unit roads, you have to remember that you have to leave all your special weapons that are reducing your movement factor. For example, this light machine gun has one portage point, so it's not reducing their movement factor, because unit with one portage point moves normally, so they can carry this light machine gun with them. But if it would be heavy or medium machine gun, then they would be forced to leave this light machine gun on the hex. So they are here, and now them. They also have light machine gun, so they can carry it with them, and I move here, and then here, on this hex. So I hope this commander will be able to rally them before something bad will happen. And next we have advance phase. So Germans are most welcome to move. Here, 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 here. I will leave them here to fire on this medium machine gun. And now they are moving here, and they are moving here. And I'm not going to make movement with these guys, because if they will move here, then in the next phase these two groups will fire on them with the firepower of 16, which would be quite bad. So I will let them wait to at last break one of these groups. And next we have close combat phase. We can skip because we don't have any close combat on the board. So that's all when it comes to the German actions, and now we are moving into the Soviet actions. Time for our Ivans to do their best, if they will be able to do so, of course. So let's start with rally phase. Germans doesn't have to rally any of their troops, so they are fine. But we cannot tell the same about Soviets. First we have one squad here. We can try to rally it with the commander. It is 7. 7. We have +4 because of the Desperation Morale counter, and -1 because of the being in the building. So we have 7 + 3, it is 10, and their morale is 7. So they are sadly not rallied, but we can remove Desperation Morale counter. And the next here, we have two broken squads here. Oh. One of them is 7 and one of them is 5. As for 5, it is almost impossible to rally it. They have +4 because of the Desperation Morale counter, -1 because of the commander, and -1 because of being in the building, so they have +2. So we would have to roll natural 2 to rally them. Well, it wasn't far, but still. And next, for the other squad, they have morale of 6, I believe. 7. So it is still, they are broken. And notice that they are we cannot remove their broken morale counters because enemy is on the adjacent hex. And when enemy is on the adjacent hex to the broken unit, such a unit has to keep their Desperation Morale counter. They are still too afraid because enemy is around. Okay, so that's all when it comes to the Soviet prep fire, rally phase, and now we have to move into the Soviet prep fire phase. Sorry, I have to move my board a bit because sun is coming, and I don't want to make it some blurry or something like that. I want everything to be visible. Great. Alright, so first I'm going to fire with these Soviet conscripts. They have firepower of 4. They are firing on the adjacent hex, so they have firepower of 8. And this and they have a commander with -1, so we have 8 + 2. Where can I put? Oh, maybe here. We have 9 + 2, it's 11, so it's a miss. Next, here. These Germans are firing. Now, the question is if they want to fire on them or on them. These both units are in the clear terrain, and we can still fire on these Germans with this group. So I think I will fire on them to increase my chance to break each of these squads. So 4 with 0 modifier, 7. 7 in the column of 4 is pin test check. So let's make a roll. 8. Germans are pinned. Well, not broken, but still pinned. Now this stack fires on them. I have 8 with no modifiers, 9 in the column of 8 is pin test check again, so let's make a pin test check for this German squad. 8, the same situation, they are pinned. Oh sorry, yes, I made a mistake. They have morale of 8, so they weren't pinned. But they have morale of 7, so they are pinned. Now it's good that I remember about it. And I'm going to mark them with prep fire. Okay, now here. I'm firing with this squad on these guys, so I have 4 with no modifiers. 6. In the column of 4 it is normal morale check. 9. So commander is pinned. And now for his men. 9. So they are broken. Because commander is pinned, so they cannot help them. So they are broken. And Soviets are marked as prep fire. And now, as for them, I won't move them. You will soon see why. Okay, that's all when it comes to the Soviet prep fire phase. And now we have Soviet movement phase. And what you can see that most of my Soviets fired, so I won't be able to make much of movement. But I have one action I wanted to do. Oh my, sun again. Okay, that's fine. And now, I'm making my movement here, on this hex. You may ask why. Because in the next phase, which will be German defensive fire phase, Germans would be allowed to fire on this hex, which could be quite bad for these conscripts. And then, because of this action, they are safe, because this building blocks their line of sight. And next, in the advancing phase, I will be able to return to this hex. So it will remain in the Soviet hands, but our Soviets are safe. This action is called skulking. Some of the players call this some kind of legal cheating, but it is perfectly fine according to the rules. Okay, any other Soviets are about to move? I don't think so. Yes, I don't think so. Soviets are staying where they are. So next we have German defensive fire phase. Okay, so now I will start with this this awesome flamethrower. I don't have to tell you how much I like this weapon. I'm firing on this hex, so I have firepower of 12 without penalties of TAM for this stone building. So let's make this roll. Oh, I'm gonna re-roll this die because it fell on its side. So we have 6. In the column of 12 it is 2 MC, 2 morale check. Wow, pretty good. And it is 6, so the flamethrower is fine. So let's first start with this Soviet commander. 6, he's fine. And now he can use this sorry, it was 1 MC or 2 MC. 6 in the 12, it is 2 MC. Oh, sorry, so he's pinned. So he is pinned, and because of that he won't be able to help his guys. That's bad. Now time for his men. I'm going to place him here to make it clear. And now for his guys. These conscripts are, well, 8, so they are broken. And now these 2 broken squads. First, 9 plus 2, it's 11, and their morale is 5. So they are reduced to the half squad. I am taking a half squad counter, placed on the broken side, and they are broken. And now for this squad, 8 plus 2 is 10, so they are broken, and Russian ELR is 3. So I have 8 plus 2 is 10, so they are still they won't be reduced by their quality, but their quantity. So they are turned into half squad, but of the same first line. They are not turned into conscripts. But even so, you may notice that the half squad of the same quality has a morale of 6 instead of 7. This is quite interesting. Oh. And we have big stack of broken units here. And now they are marked with final fire. And now they are going to do the same, firing with 10. So they are 8 with plus 3 because of the stone building. 6 plus 3 is 9. It is pin test check. So we can ignore it because all these units are broken or one of them is pinned. So it won't do much against them. And the next thing I am going to do is to fire with two groups on this Soviet machine gun. I have firepower of 12 plus 3 because of the stone building. Then it is fail. I don't even have to check. At last machine gun survived. And now here. I cannot fire on them because of the skulking, but I can fire on them. I have firepower of 8, if I remember well. Yes, 8. Plus 3 because of the stone building and minus 1 because of the commander, so I have 8 plus 2. Yeah. Fail. And now they have 4. So they can't do much, but they are firing on these guys. 4 plus 3. Little chance, and it is a miss. So that's all when it comes to the German defensive fire phase. They did quite a stuff here. Alright, and next we have Soviet advancing fire phase. I don't think Soviets are going to make any advancing fire. All of their units are already marked with prep fire wherever they were able to fire, and no any other units are about to fire on Germans, so I can remove these prep fire markers. Yes, I can do it. Okay. And the next thing is road phase. And we are going to route all these guys here. Normally, commander might move with his routing units, but here he cannot because he's pinned. So he has to stay here while his guys are escaping. And now, any other Soviets about to escape somewhere? No, they don't have to, while Germans have to. They have to escape to this building, while the commander is pinned, so he cannot. So he has to stay on this hex. And I think that's all when it comes to the road phase. Yes, they are just pinned. So the next thing is the Soviet advance phase. I'm going to return here, and as for here I would move on this hex. This can be a risky idea, but I want to protect this line to this hex, so I'm going to move here. Not sure if it's a good idea, really. I think this building is already lost, and maybe I should rather withdraw from this building, rescuing this squad from almost certain destruction. I'm really not certain about this action, so maybe it would be rather wise to escape, even if now I am in the line of sight of these two squads. Really, I have mixed idea about this, but I think it's better to save this squad, because I don't know when my reinforcements will arrive. So any squad is worth very much. Okay, that's all when it comes to the Soviet advance phase and close combat phase, but we don't have any close combat on the board again, so we can remove pin markers and we can finish our first turn. So let's carry on our battle with turn 2, and we are starting with a rally phase of Germans, and the question is if Germans want to rally anyone. I think they are, but well, this unit, they can self-rally one unit, but this one has Desperation Morale, so it would be hard, but I don't think any other German units are in need to being rallied, so I will try to do with them. It won't be easy. 6 plus 10 plus 4, it's 10, so they cannot be rallied. Too bad. And now Soviets. And what about our islands? First here, I believe there is one broken squad here. Yes, we have broken squad, and they have morale of 7. Oh my, poor Russians. And we have squads only here, and none of them can self-rally, so I can only remove these Desperation Morale counters from them, but I cannot rally them because Soviets cannot rally themselves. Alright, so now we have German prep fire phase. I don't think that the Germans have any other stuff to do in the rally phase. No, they don't. So let's start with German prep fire phase. Okay, I think I will start here. I'm going to fire these two squads of the firepower of 8 on this Soviet squad. So I have 8 plus 3 because of the stone building and minus 1 because of the commander. So it is 8 plus 2, it is 6 plus 2, it's 8, so it is normal morale check. Let's do this check for Soviets. Oh, they made it. They made it quite fine. Alright, and who's going to be next? I think they are going to be next, and they are going to fire on this Soviet group. They have two squads, each of them 4, and this medium machine gun of 5, so they have 13. So their total strength is 12, with the plus 3 because of the stone building. 7 plus 3 is 10. In the column of 12, it is pin test check. So let's make this 8, and the Soviets have 7, so they are pinned. Okay, they have prep fire. And who's going to be next? Do I have to fire anymore in this battle? Sorry, in this phase? I might try to do something with them. For example, I can fire this flamethrower on this commander. So I have 12 with no modifier. This can be useful. 8 in the column of 12. It is normal. It is It is 1 MC. Morale check +1. So let's do this. Oh my, 12. This is epic fail for this commander, so he is broken. Looks like this fire really burned him hard. Okay, and this is prep fire, and I think that's all. I don't have any other prep fire actions to do. And next we have to move into German movement phase. Who's going to be first? I think them. They are making assault movement on this hex. So these Soviets are about to fire on them. They are firing with them on 8 with +3 because of stone building. It was 3. So it is 5. 5 in the +3 is 8, so it is normal morale check. 7. And these Germans are 7, so they are pinned. It is first fire for these guys. Pin for them. And firepower of 4. Sorry, for 8, so we have residual fire of 4 here. Okay, that's all. And so they are not going to move anymore. They are pinned. And now them. I move. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, sorry. I was here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will make double time and I get 1 more point. You may ask not why. Because when you declare your double time during your movement, you get 1 movement point. When you declare it before you are starting your movement, you get 2. So I finish my movement here, and that's for them. Now them. 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe 3, 4. They are moving. 1, 2, and I think that's all. Or maybe this commander will move here. He can do it quite easily. And now let's move on this side. I'm making assault movement here. So these Soviets might fire on me. They are firing with 4 minus 3 because of the building. So they have 4 plus 3. Oh, it is 7. 7 in the column of 4 is pin test check. So it is pin test check for this commander. He passed. Alright. You may notice that their fire only affects this commander. It's not affecting this broken unit. It only affects the unit that moves. Okay, and who's going to be next? I think them. And now the question is, if I want to try to set up this demolition charge on this hex and kaboom these Soviets or not. This can be quite risky. This can be risky and probably very hard, but I think I'm making this video to show you how this game works. Maybe not I'm showing you how to win in this game, but let's try. I am moving here, and now they can fire on me. They can fire on me with firepower of 4, so they have 8, plus 3 because of the building, and minus 1 because of non-assault movement. So they are 8 plus 2. It is 11 plus 2, it's 13, so it's fail. So they have first fire, and here 4. And now I am attempting to set up this demolition charge on this hex. So their firepower is halved because of the final fire, and then it is tripled because they are firing on the same hex. So they have 6. 6 plus 2. Let's do this roll. 8 plus 2 is 10. In the column of 6 it is nothing. So our Germans successfully set up this demolition charge on this hex. Okay, that was good. That was good. I am happy I made it. Okay, and any other German units are about to move? No, I believe. Okay, that's all. So I can remove all these residual fire markers and start Soviet defensive fire phase. Now, what our Soviets are going to do? This is a tough question. They can try to fire on them. This is a small chance. 5 plus 3 is 8. In the column of 4 it is nothing. So it's nothing. Any other Soviet? They can only fire on the adjacent hexes because they already have first fire, so nothing. They are pinned. So they have firepower halved. So they have 4, and they have maybe they have 4 against plus 3, so it's not a big chance. Okay, it's fail. And they might try to fire on them again with final fire. So they have 4 plus 3, again nothing. So let's remove these defensive fire markers and move into advancing fire phase. First, in the advancing fire phase, this demolition charges gets kaboom. So let's check it out. It fires with 30, and we have plus 3 because of the stone building. It is 5. Well, quite good. So we have 8 in the column of 30. It is 3 MC. My. It is quite impressive. So, first, this commander. 12. So he is broken. Poor dude. Now this conscripts. 4. They almost made it, because they have 7, but still they are broken. And now this already broken squad with the morale of 7, no, they didn't make it, and so they suffer quantity reduction. They are turned into half squad. I need to find a proper half squad counter. Yes, I have it. So they are broken. Too bad. Okay, I can mark them with prep fire, so they were used. And any other Germans that are about to fire? Yes, I think they have firepower of 5. It is halved and then doubled because of the advancing fire. So advancing fire phase and neighboring hex. So they have 5, and they have +1 because of their assault fire ability. So they have 6. And +3 because of the light machine gun, so they have 8. Sorry, so they have 9. So it gives us 8 +2 +3 -1. So we have 8 plus 2. Nothing. At last machine gun survived. Now them. They have same situation. They have 6, but they have 8, but they don't have commander, so they have 8 plus 3. Nothing. And I don't think I have any more. Of course, I can fire them. They have 2 plus 3, so they have 4. Mine 4 without any modifiers, 7. This is pin test check. So Soviets are fine. Okay, that's all when it comes to the German advancing fire phase. There was a lot of firing here right now. And next we have road phase. And this is a problem for Soviets. Actually, we have to mark all this entire stack with Desperation Morale, because there is enemy on the adjacent hex. And now they have to road. And this commander cannot road. He can only road here, 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 or here, and each of these hexes are in the enemy is adjacent to the enemy. So because of that, they are eliminated. Oh, he is eliminated because it is Soviet commander. And now this stack. They are in the same situation. They can only road here, 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 or here, and each of these hexes are adjacent to the enemy units. So because of that, they are also eliminated. We can leave the light machine gun here. So thanks to this, we have a lot of Soviet units out of the board. And now they also have to road, so they are moving here. Well, that's all for the road phase, and now we have advance phase. So let's advance our Germans. I am moving here. They are pinned, so they cannot move. But they can, and the question is if I want to move them. No, I don't think so. I will still try to fire on these Soviets here. Okay, so that's all when it comes to the advance phase, and since there are no Soviet units in this building and only Germans, I can place German control marker in this hex. Good. I think I will make a movement with these guys here, here, and the commander here. So it will be easier for them to be used in this area. Okay, so this concludes advance phase. And we have close combat. We have no close combat on the board, so I can remove pin markers. And this concludes German actions in the turn 2. Now we have Soviets and their Soviets' first attempt to introduce the reinforcements. To make it happen, I have to roll die, and if a result will be lower than the current turn's number, then Soviets might introduce the reinforcements. It is 3, so it's fail. The reinforcements cannot arrive in this turn. This is bad because they suffered huge losses currently. Just in this turn, they lost literally 2.5 squad. So this is a big loss, and one commander who was also their best commander. Okay. So let's do rally phase now. As for Germans, sorry, starting with Soviets now. Here I have a commander, so yes, I have a commander, so he can try to self-rally himself because his morale on the broken side is in the square. When we have this morale in the square, then unit might try to rally itself. So let's do this. 7 plus 4, it is nothing. So they cannot rally themselves. Also, because there is enemy unit in the adjacent hex, they have to keep desperation morale counter. No good. Okay, any other Soviets that are about to rally themselves? No. So we are going with Germans. Germans have to run only this one broken unit here below, so I can try to rally them. Oh, sorry. It is 10. -2 because of the commander, -1 because of the building, so it is 7. So they can be rallied. Good. And that's all when it comes to the rally phase. And next we have Soviet prep fire phase. If Soviets are about to prep fire, yes. I'm prep firing these two squads on this hex. So I have 8 plus 3. Sadly, it is 10 plus 3, it is 13, so it is a total miss. Now, any other Soviets are going to fire? I believe them are in the good situation to fire on these guys or on these guys, but no. Their goal is to reach this factory here and to help his comrades. So I'm not going to fire with them, but I'm going to fire with this stack, sorry, this squad with medium machine gun on them. It will be hard. Why? Because we have a stone building here, which gives us +3, and we are firing through the orchard. Orchard provides us +1, so we are firing with 8 plus 4. It won't be easy, but we have to try it. Wow! First we have a rate of fire, and now we have 3 plus 4. This is 7. 7 in the column of 8 is 1 MC. So we have one morale check +1 for Germans. It is 7, but +1 is 8. So German unit is broken. Ha! Lucky Soviets. Lenin is smiling at them from the heavens above, or wherever communists go. And next, these Soviets might fire, but again with their medium machine gun. It will be 4 plus 4, a little chance. It is 10, so it's nothing. At last, machine gun is not broken. Good. Now I have one more reason to move these guys here, because if they will reach this hex, they will force these Germans away. Okay, that's all when it comes to the Soviet prep fire phase, and next I have Soviet movement phase. So I'm moving them here, so Germans can fire on them. These guys are firing on them. They have 3 plus 4, so they have 7, so they are firing with 6, and they have -1 because this unit is not using assault movement. But they are not in the clear terrain. So we have 6 minus 1, it is 6, so we have covering, so we have 4, plus 1, it is 7, so we have pin test check for Soviets. 5, they made it. So Germans have first fire, we have to place +2, residual fire, and now this stack is firing at them as well. Because they spent 1.5 movement point to enter here, so we have each of them can fire at him once. So we have 8 minus 1, it is 9, in the column of 8 it is pin test check again. And this time Soviets made it. Yes, they made it, because when you make a pin test check, you have to roll higher than your morale. So they made it. We can replace this 2 with 4, because they fired with the firepower of 8. So Soviets are fine. They are moving here next, and they spend another 1.5 movement point, and that's where they are finishing their movement. And yes, no other German units can fire on them now. So that's all for them, and I don't think any other Soviet units are about to move. No, they don't. So that's all for the Soviet movement phase. So let's remove this residual fire. And next we have German defensive fire phase. I will fire with them. They have 12, total 13, so it's 12 on them. We have 12 plus 3. It is 8 plus 3, it's 11. In the column of 12 it is nothing, so they missed. This Soviets with this Soviet squad with medium machine gun works quite fine. They survived a lot of firing on them. And now here I have firepower of 4, and I'm firing on them, so I have 4 plus 3 minus 2, so it's 4 plus 1. So sorry, yes, so 4 plus 1, it is 5. In the column of 4 it is 1 MC. 7 plus 1 is 8, so Soviets are broken. And now they are firing at this squad. They have 8 plus 3 and minus 1, so they have 8 plus 2. Leader nullifies covering, so we have 8 in the column of 8. It is normal morale check for Soviets. Oh wow, they made it. And am I right to... No. Leader creation comes only with self-rally and close combat, so it's not working. In the full advanced squad leader, this result could invoke heat of the battle option, but we are not playing full advanced squad leader, so it's not working for us. Okay, so I think that's all when it comes to the German defensive fire. Yes, that's all. So let's remove these markers. Germans are doing quite fine, I have to say. And now we have Soviet advancing fire phase. I'm going to fire with these Soviets. They have 4. It is halved because of the advancing fire, and then doubled because of the adjacent hex, so we have 4 plus 3. Not an easy shot, but, well, nothing. Okay, that's all when it comes to the advancing fire. And next we have a road phase. How about some routing, guys? This is Soviet turn, so Soviets are first, so I'm moving them here, and the Germans are, now they are moving here, and now Germans are withdrawing or retreating here. Okay, that's all. That's all when it comes to the road phase. And next we have advance phase. So this Soviet unit enters this hex to keep this building in the control. And I don't think I will make any other Soviet movement, so that's all. We don't have any close combat in this turn, so this concludes turn 2. And I think this concludes this part of the video as well. It is already quite long, so I think it will be best to stop here. and thank you for watching, and see you again in the part 2 of the War of the Rats.